that and raised issues about huge gaps between those who have knowledge and those who have a different kind of knowledge. So these are very important. The voices have spoken. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have these wise and older, oh, sorry, young for longer. The middle archbishop said, we are not young, we are not old, we are young for longer. So the group on this side, the young people have spoken and they've raised very important issues. I want to start with you, Archbishop Tutu, and just to get a sense of what is your response to these issues that the young people are raising? What strikes you as being, what moves you from what some of the young people have said?
I shouldn't have come here. No. I, in many ways, am in awe of you young people. I really am. I mean, I listen to your analysis. I might not necessarily agree, but you are fantastic. You really are. I mean, I don't think, I can't remember that when I was your age, which is in the last century, that I could be, I was as incisive as you are. And that gives me very, very considerable hope. I think, I mean, that your diagnosis, we are in trouble. And those of us who are old are less young, who dreamt that we would have, you know what we dreamt? We didn't dream about changing the complexion of people sitting in the offices in the union buildings. That was not the height of our aspiration. We believed that we were going to help bring about, create a society that was caring. I mean, caring, compassionate. I don't believe that we were speaking about a society where everybody has a huge bank account. No, we hope so. I mean, no. That is not what we were. You know, we went looking to give marching orders because we thought that why we were struggling was in order to have a society in which every single one of us knew they counted, that they mattered, that their points of view were taken seriously. That, I mean, you sit here and you think that in this country, with the resources that we have, that people actually go to bed hungry. That is, why did we struggle? And so I'm not answering it because I think that I agree. I mean, our education is in a heck of mess. But what is happening? I mean, is that you have people actually who. How can you ever bring yourself to buy a car worth, as a public servant, a car worth just over $1 million? And you know that, dash it, man, there are people living. I'm retired. I wish, yes, I could just shut up.
And we are so glad you're not shutting up. Our lovable Rebel Rouser. Reminding us of the right to speak. And next to him, a woman who in recent months has also reminded us of the civil responsibility to speak, Farrell Haffiji. I couldn't help thinking about what you've been saying, Farrell, and all that you have opened up in our public discourse when Nonmedo spoke about her circumstances in Khayelitsha and asking the question, what does Malema mean when he says he's representing us? He's poor too, when he has not set foot and seen what's going on. And wondering when we hear words like that and your own journey with trying to tell us what's going on and to make us ask the critical questions that others are afraid to ask. So I would like to give the floor to you.
Thank you very much. It's so sad when I listen to our Archbishop asking those kind of questions of how people can go to bed hungry 18 years later. But I always believe that the answers to that are far more complex than we in the media and generally in public discourse seek to answer. First, I thought I may ask the young people, and the young people over here, whether they could sing us the national anthem. Given how one of their own generation massacred it today, I'm sure you do it perfectly well. No, but the question that I'd really like to begin to try to answer, Amanda, is something that has come about because of my recent experiences. I got quite tired of feeling and being a black snake recently, and I sought to cast off that skin. And I was quite inspired by Professor Jonathan Janssen's daily messages to us on Twitter and Facebook. And his first one was that when next you get asked to fill in a form, next to race, write human. So last week my HR people, hold on a second, try and do it. So last week the HR woman came to me and she said, you really need to sort out this race thing. You're down as an African female. So I said, I am African female. No, you're not. So I said, okay, change it, I'm human. To which she packed up laughing. No, okay, be serious now, she said. Are you a colored female? I said, mostly, I went to a colored school. How were you classified on your birth certificate? Well, Indian stroke Cape Malay, but I really hated the miscegenation of that one. Okay, I'm Indian. Only on a good day when my hair is straight. I said, I am human and I want you to go and put it there. And so the poor woman walked away and then she brought her other manager with her because I am messing with the statistics. The point I realized though is that on the path to humanity, you first have to go through the process of making things right. And the reasons that we still count race is that it's important. Unless we don't tackle honestly the questions of employment equity, of fair wealth transfer, unless we don't start paring down this awful Gini coefficient then I think people are still going to go to bed hungry at night. And what has been the saddest thing for me in the past fortnight is to watch how the very people who will applaud loudly and give our Archbishop a standing ovation when he speaks out against corruption were the same people who said the most vicious and vile things about him when he threatened the status quo of wealth as we know it today. Thank you.
Sipho, you've just started the Council for the Advancement of the Constitution, and all the questions that have been raised by the young people on the other side, they touch on issues that relate to our Constitution and whether, in fact, it is a document that will help us realize that goal, that democracy and that goal of change and transformation, all the issues that the young people are raising, essentially saying, change has happened, but we don't see it. We don't see where it has happened. We have not felt the transformation. So how do you respond, and how do you help us understand the role of the organization that started?
I must say I find the input from my age mates very, very, very interesting. I'm placed in the wrong group here. You know, I think that the past is so prevalent today. South Africa is such a schizophrenic society. When the ANC was having its National General Council last year, I drove in Eastern Pondoland, in the villages there, Emalangeni, where my father's bones lie buried. No toilets, no water, no electricity. The circumstances and conditions are the same as they were in 1975 when he was buried. And when you look at that, the people there see no other race but that which was there during the time of apartheid, put there by the system. So when we talk about this aspiration for a non-racial society, the material conditions say something different. I go to the townships where I grew up, in Port Elizabeth, in Uitenhage. Poverty is grinding and unforgiving. And it just hits you. There's a very interesting project that is underway. And it attempts at Canada but doesn't go far enough. It's called the National Planning Commission. South Africans are very good at the blame game. I was in government for 7 years, so I can say this, that with good effort, we failed to live up to the aspirations and the mandate of our Constitution as far as redress and realization of an equitable society. There is part of that can legitimately be said to do with apartheid. But we can't blame apartheid forever. We must accept a great deal of our own culpability. We made wrong policy choices. And somebody asks me whether the Constitution is under threat, and I readily admit that it is. And my view is that the biggest threat to our beautiful Constitution is the submissive and complacent populace. Because the most reliable